Climbing back upon Mount Soapbox for another rant, and Xbox is pretty much dead, which is a tragedy to all Xbox fans as well as myself, because I have owned several Xboxes over the years, but I've also owned PlayStations. I care way more about the games than I do the consoles or this console war. But I don't think that Xbox being phased out is going to be good for gamers as a whole going forward, because it means less competition. Because competition is always a good thing when it comes to consumers. I've had a OG Xbox. I got that because of Star Wars KOTOR. Around that same time, I also had a PlayStation 2. But I've also had two Xbox 360s, which I loved. One of them to the point of the red ring of death. And I also got the Xbox One, Xbox One X, as well as an Xbox Series X. And so many awesome games I have played on Xbox, including GTA 4, along with its DLCs, Red Dead Redemption 1, Overlord, Mafia 2, a few NCAA football games back in the day, as well as Skyrim, GTA 5 and online, from the 360 to the Xbox One and to the Xbox Series X, as well as Civilization Revolution, Sid Meier's Pirates, and many other games since that first game that I purchased, the original Xbox 4, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. But over the past year, it looks like Microsoft is starting to phase out Xbox. We saw several studios shut down, games being canceled, and unfortunately thousands of devs have lost their job in 2024 and 2025, which really sucks because Microsoft years earlier spent so much money acquiring a lot of these companies and studios, only to shut them down a few years later and cancel their games. And the various devs that got fired put numerous hours, days, weeks, months, and perhaps years into never to see the light of day. Plus, since last year, it's pretty apparent that Xbox is moving away from exclusives. Now, this, in my opinion, is not a bad thing, because I'm completely against exclusive titles. I think that if it can run on a platform, it should be available eventually across the board, even if it's initially released as, say, early access instead of exclusive access. This I thought was a good move, like moving over Hi-Fi Rush, Sea of Thieves, Forza, and coming up in December with Flight Sim 2024 on the PS5. As a gamer, I really like the idea of games being available across the board, as long as it, once again, can actually run on said platform. Obviously, there's a lot of games out there that wouldn't really be able to run so well on the Switch or Switch 2. It wasn't like I was going to buy a Switch 2 anyways, but the latest nail in the coffin for Xbox, thanks to Microsoft, is the Game Pass Ultimate being increased price-wise by 50% from $20 US to about $30 US. A few months ago, there was a price hike on the Xbox Series X and S consoles. Almost forgot about that, even though I did a rant. And just recently, Microsoft announced that Xbox prices would be risen again because of the tariff. All of these decisions have angered loyal Xbox players, leading to mass cancellations of Game Pass Ultimate and handing Sony the win in this current console war. Sony was practically winning the war anyways, because PS5 was easily outselling the Series X and S. And that's another thing. I'll never understand the point of the Series S, which was obviously a far weaker console than the Series X or PS5. But okay, Microsoft. But if I'm reading these signs and tea leaves right, Microsoft, it looks like you really don't care about the Xbox console anymore because of all these decisions that you've been making over the past 2 years now. But going into the future, next gen, we're obviously going to get a PlayStation 6 somewhere down the road, whether it's a year or two from now. But with everything that Microsoft has been doing, I have no intention of ever buying another Xbox console again, even if there is one to come out along with the PlayStation 6. Microsoft has shot themselves in both feet, broken their own kneecaps, and in the end have decided to shoot off their hands. And in my opinion, no thanks to Microsoft, Xbox is all but dead. Your thoughts, views, and opinions, welcome, as always, below in the comment section.